Good morning, everyone. I welcome all of you for today's webinar session and thank you for joining. So, today's webinar topic is leading a healthy lifestyle through diet and exercise. Towards the end, I'll give an introduction to ketogenic diet. So, this is a topic which I got very passionate recently, and I would say I have neglected all these things in the past, and I would say one of the most neglected areas, especially in the Christian circles. And why I became so passionate is because I knew I was living in ignorance. I was neglecting all the good parts of leading a healthy lifestyle. And then I gained some knowledge recently, and I tried to put it into my own life, and I saw a lot of tremendous changes in my own life. So that's why I became so passionate, so that it is my desire that others should not live in ignorance of the small ways they can take to lead a healthy lifestyle. So these are some of the things which I learned personally from well-researched books written by doctors, and from my own experiences in the past 1 year, and and uh, it has brought a tremendous impact in my life. It is quite a big topic, and I am just giving you all a direction which you can think to take. So let's move ahead. Um, so in the survey, if you'd have attended the survey which I have circulated before, it was 100% yes from everyone about whether we need to take care of our bodies. There is no doubt, everybody agreed we need to take care of bodies. It's not only our spiritual growth matters, our bodies are also to be taken care. I'm not negating the spiritual growth or spiritual disciplines like Bible reading, prayer, being a part of fellowship. I'm not negating any of those things, but I'm considering physical fitness and a healthy lifestyle as a support mechanism for all those things to be done effectively. So, what is the basic principle we all put forward to take care of our bodies? So, we all know this verse, 1 Corinthians 6:19 to 20. Uh, do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own, you were brought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies. So, although this verse is talked in the context of sexual immorality, but the principle is remains same. Like we are the temple of the Holy Spirit, and for that matter, we can identify the sins of gluttony, abuse we do to our bodies, addictions like alcoholism, smoking, etc., can be identified based on this principle. And Paul addresses the sin of gluttony sometime later also in the Bible. So we are clear about that. We are the temple of the Holy Spirit, and it has to be maintained. We also know that we need to be faithful stewards of the gifts and the eternal, and we have eternal reward which are actually meant for good stewards. The money we have, the talents we have, the gifts we have, the family we have, everything are all are good gifts from our Father, and we ought to be faithful stewards. And the rewards are for a good steward. And what about the next question is, what about our bodies? Isn't it a precious gift given to us at our birth? As Psalms 139:14 says, we are fearfully and wonderfully made. You know, our bodies are so complex, but yet so beautiful, created by our Creator. It's a gift from God. Uh, so we ought to be faithful stewards of our own bodies too. So let me take the example of generating wealth for future. So if you see, for creating wealth in our life, we need an income. Of course, we need investments for future long-term purposes. We need to categorize between known expenses and unknown expenses. Of course, expenses are inevitable, but unknown expenses usually drains our wealth. So we need to we need to make it known expenses. So similar to wealth, we have the wealth we create. We can compare it to our healthy bodies. So to maintain a healthy body, we need to have food. Of course, that is the income we have for maintaining our body. And what are some of the investments we can have? Fitness and healthy diet. So I am focusing mainly on fitness and healthy diet in this webinar, and my focus is more on that. So these are some of the investments we can do for maintaining a healthy body in long term: fitness and healthy diet. And what are some of the unknown expenses which drains away our healthy bodies? No exercise and unhealthy diet. These can be two. There can be many, but these are primarily the two things which we can take control over, so that we can make it as known expenses. So we can have exercise and healthy diet to as an investment to build a healthy body. So that is just an analogy compared to the wealth we have. And this is one of the books which I read in the beginning, where I started this healthy lifestyle journey. The author of the book is same as who wrote the Sacred Marriage book. And in this book, he is giving a lot of examples why it matters for a Christian, especially, to take care of their bodies. For example, he's telling a body and soul relationship. For example, when we are sick, when we overeat at one point of time, when we are fatigued, when we have body pains, when we have obesity, when we have many diseases, lifestyle diseases, which could have prevented by taking care of our bodies, will affect our spiritual journey. In the sense, if we are sick, we may not be able to read Bible, we may not be able to serve in the ministry. It's very obvious. If we are sick in our body, we may not be fully use the potential which God has given to be used in the ministry. And it, in one way, our unhealthy bodies hinders our ministry. And also the main point which struck me was in the book is premature termination of our earthly ministry. He gives a lot of examples where many people who don't take care of their bodies finally get into a lot of diseases which could have prevented, but they will ultimately get terminated prematurely. They couldn't run the full length which God has appointed them on the earth. So you can go through this through this book. You can get more idea on that. So I just took some glimpses from that. And one of the verses which I got really uh, really strike is 2 Samuel 24:24, which he said, I will not sacrifice to the Lord my God burnt offerings that cost me nothing. So King David is telling about this, that he won't sacrifice to the Lord burnt offerings that cost him nothing. So my question is it costing us really to maintain our body? Of course, we eat food daily, but what about the costing in the sense that, is there any sacrifice? Is there any money we use? For example, are we doing a regular annual health checkup, putting some money in there? For example, we do car service, we maintain it every year. Like that, our much more complex bodies, are we doing any kind of medical assessment yearly? Are we putting money into that? And another cost is in the terms of time. Are we putting time to do exercise, to learn more about our health and all those things which cost us, but are we doing it? That's a question. And can we really tell these bodies are maintained at the symbol of the Holy Spirit? And is it costing us? And my next question was, most of the people in the survey have received lack of motivation as the reason for not doing exercise or not doing anything with related to body, maintaining good bodies. So my question is it due to lack of purpose and ignorance, or is it just lack of purpose, knowing many things, or it can be also due to ignorance, also ignorance of the things which we are supposed to do? So let me come to the point of purpose. I know many of my friends in my to hit gym to make themselves good shape in their body, maybe to get good alliances, or probably a function they want to attend to get a good photo shoot. They want a good body. They will hit gym, but once that purpose is served, just after that they will gain weight, and they don't have any purpose further to maintain a good body or maintain a healthy body. So what is our purpose as Christians, as born again believers? I would say this is our purpose. Once you have become born again believers, it is our responsibility to labor for the Lord in this body, where this body is a temple of the Holy Spirit, and we need to be faithful stewards. And this temple needs to be maintained. You can see many verses in the Old Testament where that temple was maintained the same way that this temple has to be maintained, and this maintenance requires cost in terms of our money, in terms of our efforts, in terms of our time. And next part is ignorance. If you're telling, I'm ignorant about uh, many things related to health, know that even if we are satisfied to stay ignorant, at some point we will face the consequences in terms of bad health. That is cannot be avoided. So ignorance is not a virtue. And of course, our current sedentary lifestyle plus dietary ignorance and lack of exercise all leads to bad health. And my basic objective in this webinar is to share some knowledge in the areas where we are ignorant, where diet and to give a brief overview of what is a healthy diet. And okay, let me go ahead. So before moving further, let me put this disclaimer. I am not a professional dietitian or a fitness coach. So please consult a physician if any health issues for implementations of all these new learnings. I'm just an engineer, tried to learn about these things and applied it in my own life, which I found tremendous change in my own life. So let's move ahead. Next, I want to address something which is very special to us. What is that? It's a food. So in a given day, if I have been given a good breakfast with masala dosha, sambar, and 3 types of chutney, plus a deck of pancakes with whipped cream and where maple syrup is flowing down, and with French toast and all those honey-filled bananas filled in it, I would be more happy to eat that for my breakfast. And coming to the lunch, of course, some lunch like a plate of biryani along with the white rice and some ghee and chicken curry. You can see all the fries, fish fry, quail fries, beef fry. If I would have been given all these things, I will definitely eat for in a given day, I would say. And for again for snacks, I would have some donuts for satisfying. And okay, I had so much for the day, I will have some light meal for the dinner, like 4 chapati and some aloo fry. So my question is, so in a given day I am more than willing to eat all these stuffs. Okay, so my question is, what is our philosophy behind eating? Is it really to build or maintain a healthy body? Is it like eat until full and satisfy our cravings? Have you ever thought, is there any limit our body can take? I never thought it before. Even if I thought, there was no way I could find it out. So have you ever thought, is there any limit our body can take? Have you ever thought how the food we eat, what all food we eat is processed in our body? You know, in my school days, I didn't like biology much, and I never bothered to know how our food is processed. I just knew the heavy meal I had on the previous day, I have to go to the restroom next day to eliminate it. That is the only thing I knew about how the processing part of the food I take. So can we consider our food as a medicine to build a healthy body, or do we need the help of medicines just to eat food? So keep those questions in mind. So let's move ahead. And let me address some food facts. So why we need to eat food? We all know we eat food, we need energy for our body, we need to use it for various functions. At a cellular mitochondrial level, it will convert the food into adenosine triphosphate, and it will be supplied to all other body parts for various functions. So in short, we need energy for our body. So that's why we eat food. And we need to, what is the unit of energy we're talking about? So it is, you might have seen this particular symbol in many food labels. So this is the unit of energy from the food. We call it as calories. Capital C, we'll usually calories when mentioned by KCL. It's not kilocalories. We mention it like K, small letter KCL. It's just calories. And that is a unit of energy. Why we convert into the terms of energy, less like our wealth and our money, we measure in terms of the basic units of currency, that is rupee or dollars. We consider the food, we convert the food into terms of energy. That I will tell you how it's done. And that unit is calories, just calories, and mentioned by KCL. And the food we eat has two components. One is micronutrients and macronutrients. Keep that in your mind. Micro is a small amount thing which we need in our body for various functions. Macro is a bigger part which provides us energy. So what are these micronutrients? Micronutrients are vitamins and minerals. So vitamins are necessary for energy production, immune function, blood clotting, and other functions. And minerals play an important role in growth, bone health, fluid balance, and several other processes. So micronutrients are needed in our body, essentially in our body, but they are required only in smaller amounts. What are macronutrients? So macronutrients only provide us energy, not micronutrients. Macronutrients give us energy. What are those macronutrients? Macronutrients are three. One is carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. So you can see 1 gram of carbohydrates give 4 calories. 1 gram of protein gives 4 calories, and fat, you see, almost double it gives 9 calories per gram. So keep in mind, our food we eat, the daily food we eat, has both micronutrients and macronutrients. Micronutrients are vitamins and minerals. Macronutrients are carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. And macronutrients are the larger part in the food which provides us energy, not micronutrients. And in this webinar, I'll be focusing more on the macronutrients because macronutrients provides us energy, and it is a deciding factor which leads to weight gain, weight reduction, weight maintenance. So macronutrients is our focus. And the previous question I asked, is there any limit for our body to take daily the food we eat? So there is, medically it's there, and I will introduce that at a later slide. So energy requirement for our body is defined by this particular term known as BMR, known as basal metabolic rate. There are many calculators, of which one I will introduce in this webinar. So there is a maximum limit of calories defined for our body based on our weight and height, and based on our activity levels. There is a daily requirement of calories, and if we eat more than that, definitely we will gain weight. So I'll explain it more in detail in the coming slides. So let me address each of the macronutrients. So the first macronutrient is carbohydrates, or known as carbs. We usually call it carbs. And it gives 1 gram of carbs will give 4 calories with energy. And our common diet is usually high carb diet. The ways in which we brought up, or even if you say a global level, our common diet is a high carbohydrate diet. What are those things? There can be sugar in our tea, the sugar we use, white bread, sweet white bread, or wheat. Even if it's not sugarless bread, also it's high carb because wheat is high carb. And white rice, chapati, potato, means sweet fruits, the Maggi noodles we eat, all are high carb food. And what are these carbs in this food? So carbs are basically sugar, starch, and fiber. So you might have heard about fiber in our food. So fiber are actually the indigestible carbohydrates. It will be eliminated from our body. But what happens to the carbs in our food, especially the sugar and starch? When we eat it in the intestine, it will be converted into glucose. through a process known as glycolysis. No need for remembering all these processes. I just gave you a little bit below the a little bit in depth. So what ultimately carbs will be converted into glucose. So and what will happen when glucose is released into our bloodstream? So there is a hormone which will be released by our pancreas known as insulin. And what does insulin does? Insulin travels to the our each body cells through the blood, and it tells the cell to open up and let the glucose in. You know, it's like going there and asking the cells to open up so that I can allow the glucose to come inside. And why is it used? The cells will be used that glucose for energy to be used by the body. Now the question is, if we have excess glucose, because some part of glucose will be used for energy, where if we do very physical work, you may need more energy. But if you do sedentary lifestyle, we may not need that much energy. So there is a chance of excess glucose in our blood. So what will happen with the excess glucose is it will be stored as glycogen or fat. So I will address this in more detail in the coming sections. So excess glucose, know that it's not going anywhere. It's not eliminated. It's stored in our own body as glycogen or fat. So this process, I would say the glycogen, some amount, very few, the glycogen amount in our body will be around of the 1 kg or probably less than that. So glycogen is usually stored in our liver or muscle for short-term usage. And it's by a process known as glycogenesis. And glucose will be converted into glycogen. And next is the villain, the process which is the villain in our life. What the excess glucose will be converted into body fat. And this is a question I've been always thinking. You know, the fat or the fat content which we eat in our body only makes us fat. No, it's not only the fat content. Usually we have the high carb diet, and excess carbs will be converted into excess glucose, and that glucose will be converted into body fat. And it will be a long-term energy storage. I don't know when it's going to be used. It will be just keep on adding in our body. And so that's what, just keep that in your mind. It's not just fat which gets added into your body, but the excess glucose, which is a high carb diet, will be converted into body fat. So keep this process in your mind. Lipogenesis. Lipids are fatty acids. Lipogenesis is the process in which the glucose will be converted into body fat. And one more point I want to mention is with regard to insulin. So we hear type 2 diabetes or how it will happen and all. So what will happen is I mentioned the role of insulin. Insulin tells the cells to take the glucose from the blood to be used for energy or for storage. So in a type 2 diabetes, it can be due to lifestyle or obesity. What happens is the cells are not able to use the insulin and allow the glucose into the cell. So what happens, our bloodstream, there will be buildup of glucose in our blood. So that is type 2 diabetes. And type 1 diabetes, of course, there is pancreas is not making any insulin, so we need to give extra insulin. So I just want to address that here, what is type 1 and type 2 diabetes. So so know that carbs in our food are the major reason we need insulin. So people who are diabetic are actually carb intolerant. They cannot take more carbs in their body because it will spike their insulin requirement. It will spike the blood sugar levels. Even for a normal, healthy man, it can all lead to fat buildup and obesity and further lifestyle diseases. And so how much excess we can have, how much is the upper limit we have, I will define in the coming slides. And know that it's not only sweet foods, more rice, more chapatis, or for that matter, any high carb food in excess can lead to fat gain, not just sugar. So keep that in your mind. Excess carb in your food will lead to fat gain. And Of course, sweets and high carb will be fast addition, but know that we all love rice, wheat, and all. Excess of that will also leads to fat buildup using this process, lipogenesis. And and one more point I want to address is so if you see the carb count, we call the amount of carbohydrates in particular amount of food. For example, 3 tablespoons of sugar has 37.5 grams of carbohydrates. 1 cup of white rice is 43 grams of carbohydrates. 2 chapati has 40 grams of carbohydrates. So know that it's not just sugar which provides carbohydrates, which ultimately gets converted into glucose. It's the white rice, the chapati we eat. If it's minimal level, it's fine. But 1 cup of white rice, I cannot imagine eating that much. It will be mostly 2-3 cups. But if it's more tasty, I will have more. So know this in your mind. It's not just sugar which adds to your fat. Your white rice, your favorite chapati, everything can add to fat if our energy from the food is more than the daily energy requirement. And one more point I want to add is glycemic index. So it tells us how fast the food we eat will convert into glucose. For example, sugar has a maximum 100, it immediately gets converted into glucose. White rice, yes, it is at 73, lesser than sugar. Chapati is lesser than white rice. So what I'm trying to tell is chapati or wheat items will take a little bit more time to process, and by that time for diabetic people the insulin will take over and reduce the blood sugar. So white rice, if you see, you will immediately the sugar will spike up, and our insulin will be very slowly acting, and there will be an increased blood sugar level in your body. That is for a diabetic people. And yeah, it can eventually, for a healthy guy, it can all lead to a lifestyle disease in the type 2 condition, type 2 diabetes condition. So why I dwelled more on this slide is we are so obsessed with carbohydrates in our life. Even I was some time back. So what is our next macronutrient? Next is protein. Proteins gives 1 gram 4 calories. And proteins are very essential for growth and maintenance, essential building blocks of muscles. So you can see people who go to gym or want to build muscles, they have this whey protein, they have other protein sources they eat to build their muscles. Even for not a gym trainer, we all need protein in our body for maintenance of our own muscles. And yeah, I am just showing it because I'm doing webinar. My life will be spared. I know you all are obsessed with these non-veg things. So we can have a beef steak, tandoori chicken, eggs. Eggs, the yellow part is fat, but white is protein. Fish is a good source of good protein, and almonds, nuts, and cheese. All these are good sources of protein. And how much protein we need in our body? So usually this is the recommended, that is 1 to 1.5 grams per kg of goal weight per day. For example, I am around 84 kg, which is in my goal weight or ideal weight. And I may need, because I'm working out, I may take the maximum extent, that is 1.5 grams per kg. That means 1.5 into 84, it's approximately 120 grams of protein per day I need for maintenance of our muscles, or for building muscles, for doing while doing some workouts. So usually it's between this range. For example, why I mentioned goal weight here, because I can be overweight also. So if for my height, if I am overweight 99 kgs, I cannot consider 99 as the reference for calculation of protein. I should consider my weight, which is the ideal BMI, that is 84 or below 85, any range you can take. Consider that as the reference for calculation of all these nutrients. So if you see, proteins also will undergo a process, and as and when needed, proteins can be converted into glucose, known as a process known as gluconeogenesis. So you can see, even if you don't eat carbohydrate food, our body can still generate glucose in our body using this process. So from this, it is known that Carbs are actually non-essential, and the irony is we eat a lot of carb foods, and there is an alternate way mechanism in which our body can make proteins, glucose from proteins. So, but fat and proteins are essential nutrients. We need to take it in our food for base the calories as well as any other things. Even fat I will address next. So, what the next macronutrient is fats. You can see 1 gram of fat will give 9 calories to our body, and it is essential to support cell growth and provide energy. Right amount of fat intake is necessary. So here I am addressing healthy fats. What are some of the healthy fats? Coconut oil, olive oil, butter, ghee, animal fat, uh, heavy cream. All these are high healthy fats. The fat-rich healthy fats actually. So I'm not addressing vegetable oils or trans fat because they are not so healthy compared to this. So these are some of the healthy fats. Even we use for cooking, coconut oil is the best. We usually neglect it, even though from Kerala we live, but it's from the foreigners we come to know, okay, coconut oil is the best. And olive oil cannot be used for cooking, but for usually for dressing we use olive oil. So there is one process which comes really striking is fats can be converted in our body to ketone bodies, and ketone bodies are one of the efficient source, is the most efficient source of energy, and this process of converting fats into ketone bodies will happen when our carbohydrate intake is cut off. Only then this process will work. Or when you do fasting, usually when you don't eat food, this process can happen. It can take away our body fat and convert into ketone bodies, which provides energy for our cells. And know that I will explain this when I address ketogenic diet. So this is the process. From there that name came from, ketogenesis, that fat will be converted by our body into ketone bodies. So ketogenesis, so that is the thing. So ketone bodies are many actually. There are chemical names for that, but we can consider it as ketone bodies now. So these are the 3 essential macronutrients. So next, let me address the next question, whether we do have any energy requirement, daily energy requirement. And you can see a bulb here, which is almost like fused out. For what can be the reason? It can be, one of the major reasons may be overvoltage. Overvoltage is like burnout. And you might have learned in your schools that we all have 230 volt AC supply in India, and all our equipments are designed for this supply. And if the input voltage is greater than 230, definitely our equipments are going to get damaged. And for that, we have our protection mechanisms and all. But so my point is, if you have more than what you have designed for, you will definitely burn out. And burnout, yes, during lightning and all, you have heard instances where our equipments get damaged due to high current or high voltage supply. So burnout will happen because we are giving more energy than what is required. Or take this analogy, filling air beyond a balloon's capacity. Obviously it's going to burst. And take these 2 analogies, keep it in your mind. And next is, what is our energy source? In our body, we need energy. We take it through food. And what will happen? And know that there is energy requirement. What will happen if the energy intake through food greater than our body daily energy requirement? Of course, we won't burn out. Of course, we won't burst, but we'll definitely gain weight. So our body is so complex but beautiful that it can take any of the abuses or any of the negligence we do, but it will definitely gain weight. And it will have its consequence. It will lead to obesity, lifestyle diseases, and it's that spirally it will go down. And so what is our energy requirement? That is the next question. What is the power rating for our body? Is there any maximum required energy specified? Yes, our medical research has found it in many ways based on height and weight. I will address in the next slide. And that is known as basal metabolic rate. And so how much more is the next question. So this is a BMR. You keep these two terms. BMI you may be already knowing, but BMR you keep in mind, basal metabolic rate. That is actually the number of calories your body needs to accomplish its most basic life-sustaining functions at rest: breathing, circulation, nutrient processing, cell production, etc. So BMR defines our upper limit of energy intake. You know, I will take a calculator also. It's online available, all these calculators. So based on our weight and height, we can define what is the daily calorie requirement. And BMI, body mass index, is the ideal weight for our height, and it is significantly correlated to the total body fat content. So let me take you through. So always when you do the reference study for your height, what is your ideal weight? That only you should use for the further energy requirement calculations. So let me take you to one calculator. There are many calculators available. You can use your own. I'm just showing one of those. You can see this is calculating a BMR and BMI by one CI Medical Center. For my male, 6 feet to 35. So what is I'm 84 now. 84. They want in pounds, and what is in pounds? Approximately 185.188. So 185.188. So compute BMR and BMI. So know that my BMI is 23.8 and I'm in my normal weight, 18.5 to 24.9. So I'm in my normal weight. So I can consider this weight as for my energy requirement. For example, if you are twice of this, you should not take that. For your ideal weight, whichever weight comes within this range, you should take for the further calculations. So your BMR, that is the energy requirement when you are at rest, you have this much, that is 1918 calories. But we usually don't rest always. We have to move around, we have to do our things. So we have various activities happening. So based on that, based on this, they have come out with something known as activity factor. And sedentary will be having additional multiplication by 1.2. So I will consider myself in moderately active, because moderately active is somebody who does exercise 3 to 5 days a week. So you need more energy, basically. That's the main idea. You can all explore this tool. So my daily calorie intake would be this much, 2974. So keep that in mind. I will use that for my further calculations. So my daily calorie intake should be from the food from me 2974. And if I cross more than that, definitely I'm going to gain weight. Know that this is not very accurate, and it's not very accurate to the point of 1 digit and all, but you will get an idea that this is the range where I should be aiming my food at for weight maintenance or weight reduction. And let me go to the other one. So from that calculator, I have come to know my daily calorie intake is 2974. So for weight maintenance, I need to get this much energy. It should be almost same, and weight reduction should be, the daily calorie requirement should be lesser than this. And for weight gain, of course, if you eat more than this, you will gain your weight. So please calculate, please have an idea of your BMI and daily calorie requirement. And one point is, for your height, what is the ideal weight that should be used for your daily calorie requirement? Not, for example, I am 6 feet 2, and if I consider 100 kg, definitely my weight won't reduce. And if I eat that much calorie for 100 kg, I should consider it as at my ideal weight based on our BMI calculation. So I'm just going fast. I know this all goes through your head, but I will share this later. You can again go through this and revise it. And so now we know this much calories required per day for myself. And how do we make a diet plan, a daily calorie which meets the daily calorie requirement? So this is little bit maths involved, but please bear with me. this is just to give a flavor of how it is done, especially when you go to dietitians and all. But they don't rigorously follow this, but they'll have an idea, thumb rules and all. But this is how it's calculated, how we can meet our daily calorie requirement using our diet. So of course, our food micronutrients are vitamins and minerals from food, or you can get it from multivitamins, supplements, and all. So our focus is from where we get energy, food macronutrients. So usually our diet is high carb diet, which constitutes 50 to 60% carbs, and standard American diet prescribes this, and usually we eat more than that. And one minute. So keto for that note will be 80%. Our energy will come from fats, healthy fats, and carbs will be almost nil. So I will take this high carb diet for my case right now. So as I told, it is 2974 calories per day, and I am looking at a high carb diet where 60% of my energy comes from carbs. So how do we start with? So we always start with our protein requirement. I told before 1 to 1.5 gram per kg of our goal weight need to be considered. So for my weight, it's approximately, since I work out, so I need approximately 126 grams of protein per day. And don't think this 126 gram, if you eat 126 grams of meat, you will get, there is a percentage of protein in each food, in each food or in each meat you eat. There is a percentage only. For example, 30% I think in meat you get protein. So first you need to calculate the protein, and protein using this 1 to 1.5 grams, you will get the amount of protein requirement, and correspondingly we can multiply by 4 to get the calories. So the remaining amount of calories out of this 2974 you need to get from fats and carbs. So remaining calories from carbs and fats is 2470, and 60% if you consider for getting from carbs, you should actually multiply this remaining calories, and you will get approximately 370 grams of carbs. Why I mentioned net here? Because the fiber part in the carbs is not used for energy. So whatever in the starch and sugar, it should be considered here. Now the remaining amount, that is the total requirement minus from protein minus from carbs, we'll get around 988 calories. From fat we should get, and that will amount to 109 grams. So in sum, this is the amount of carbs, this is the amount of macronutrients I should feed my body in terms of carbs, protein, and fats, so that I will meet my daily calorie requirements for my weight maintenance. So this is just to give you a flavor of how it is done. So you need not worry much. So for budgeting and monitoring, we always use the basic units, and how to plan out our food so that we'll get close to this much calorie. How to get these macronutrients from the food. And in practical scenario, when we eat food daily, we may not be able to guess how much carbs in a cup of white rice and all, right? So for that, I would say you need to take the help of it. We need to convert our food into calories. And it's similar to budget, right? Whatever money we have, we will convert, and we have a budget in our list. It all sounds crazy, but I would say it's a good investment to start with at least. So you know this particular nutrition label, where this is actually a Maggi packet where I taken this, and you can see the macronutrients: protein, carbohydrates, and fats. And you can see the arrangement for 100 grams, 60% carb is there, 16% fat is there, 9% protein. So you can get an idea. These are the macronutrients. From the food label, you have all this information. These are the micronutrients, where it's mentioned in milligrams, where these macronutrients are mentioned in grams. But for every food we eat, we don't get this nutrition information. So for that, you may need to make the use of a tool known as chronometer. In this season, don't assume this as chronometer and all. It's chronometer, and it's available for download in the app. So I would, so basically that app does is, maybe other apps are there like Healthify and all. I haven't used it. So Chronometer is one of the apps where you can convert our food intake into equivalent calories, and many other things can be done. So I'll do a demo on that. So before going into that, uh, so food basically carbs, protein, and fat. These are the macronutrients which gives us energy. And for example, I will have this particular diet for a day. Uh, for example, breakfast tea, three dosha, chutney, chai. Then I'm a tea lover. Then again tea is coming into picture. Four biscuits for lunch. 2 cups rice, with chicken, veggies, juice. Evening snacks, Maggie noodles, tea. Dinner, 4 roti, dal. That's it. I can't imagine I would eat only this much. It's just the minimum. So I would consider this for my example. So let me take that app. I will show you a demo. So this is the app actually. So what you can do is you can explore it. It's very straightforward. So some points I want to mention is, first you need to the settings, and you can give your age here and weight, height, and it will automatically calculate the body mass index, and it will give you also the basal metabolic rate, and what is your activity level also. You can give whether you are moderately active, sedentary, or very active. And the next point I want to mention is the macronutrients under targets heading. So macronutrients, you can actually fix it. So in the sense, if you are on a high carb diet, you can keep net carb 60, fat 20, and protein 20. And also I want to mention one point is, you can also have a ketogenic calculator where if you are planning to do a ketogenic diet, or if you want to do a rigorous keto program, it will define the constant macronutrient amount and all. I'm not getting into that now. You can explore it. And for our normal diet, this is these are the ratios which we usually go. And you can also set your weight goal. For example, if your current weight is for example, I am in my ideal weight, so I am basically in the weight maintaining diet. So for example, if my current weight is say 99, so I kept my current weight as 99 for my height, and you can see I am little overweight based on the body mass index. And so weight goal, so I want to reduce from a 99 to 84. So what is the target? You can lose weight at a rate of 200 grams or 0.2 kg per week. So let me take half kg per week. I'll take this example. So I want to reduce from 99 to 84 at a rate of half kg per week. So based on that, this app will convert into the required calories to take. So if you see the energy part, the upper one where the energy is mentioned, you can see this is already, I've taken some examples. So let me take a blank sheet. So this you can see the out of 2216 calorie, it's now blank, so nothing is there. This is our calorie requirement for reducing our weight at half kg per week. And if I change, if you see for maintaining weight at 99, weight goal, if I want to maintain weight at 99, what will be that diary? It will change to 2715. So we need more calorie to maintain that much weight. So you just play around with this and you will come to know how it is working. And it's quite straightforward. And another point I want to add is you can add foods here. So for example, you can make your own recipes also. Like these are some of the recipes I made. Create recipe. You can add, for example, in our diet, we may have very customized diet and we can have a lot of ingredients, and you can add and create new recipes out of it. And it will give you the macronutrient divisions and all. So for the current example, which I have shown before, for a day, I have already prepared a diary. And So for a matter of time. So what you can see is these are this you can even add dosa, everything is there. Most of the Indian foods are also available in this app, which gives you the individual macronutrient configuration. And so see that my requirement was around 2700 calories and it is overshooting. Even with this minimal amount, my energy per day is overshooting. That means definite weight gain is assured. So without knowing all these things, I'm just giving you all the things that there is a daily calorie requirement, and the food we eat, we may not be aware that we are eating more than that for our height. For example, I'm 6'4", so 6'2", so I need more energy. For a lesser height person, the requirement will be much less. So keep that in your mind. Let's proceed to that. And so let's get back to this. So definitely from the previous tool, you saw greater than my daily calorie requirement, that is 2974. And definitely if I continue like that, I will gain weight. If it's in and around plus minus 200, it's fine, but usually it won't be like that. I won't be satisfied with 2 cups of rice. I'll sometimes eat 4 cups of rice based on my taste and cravings. So based on our cravings, we define the food. We'll definitely gain weight because we don't know we are crossing the upper limit. So from our tool, we could know that my daily calorie intake is all shooting up above my upper limit. That is definitely will lead to weight gain. So for example, I will give you an idea. For example, this is just a chicken biryani. So for example, this much rice only if I eat, it will amount to 318 grams. I will be never satisfied with this much rice. When I start eating and get the taste, I will have 4 or 5 cups of this kind of biryani, which will even cross. For example, this much is approximately 318 grams, and 4 times of this will be almost your 70% of your daily calorie intake. And you multiply by 2, even your lunch, your breakfast, everywhere you are having rice items, especially for Malayalis, they like rice items, put appam, all are rice items. So all these are high carb, and definitely it will be more than our daily calorie requirement. And so it may still sound crazy to weigh our food, but you need to get a kitchen weight scale to measure at least what you're eating to get an idea. It is a basic thing of budgeting, and like the same way we do with our expenses. So why body fat gain? Our daily calorie intake greater than the required needed calories. Of course, the excess carbs will be converted into fat. It's not only fat will become fat in our body. Excess carbs will be converted in the body. Especially in our high carb food, this is going to be a problem. And when we have high carb and fat in our body, what will happen is the carbs in our body will be used for energy. And what will happen to the fat in terms of oil, animal fat, butter, ghee, and all, it will be stored in our body just as fat. So fat in presence of carb is quite dangerous. It will just store into our body. So in short, excess carbs get converted into body fat, and fat stored as body fat. So in our food we eat, we fry with oil, many things, and with rice, if we eat, most of the rice will be consumed for our energy, and fat in the food will be stored as body fat. So that comes to the point diet. Some of the takeaways to keep in your mind: some of the macronutrients, carbs, proteins, and fats, which gives us energy, and micronutrients are vitamins and minerals, which are needed in small amount, but they are also very much required. So some of the takeaways: have invest some time to estimate maximum calories needed for your height, and what is the ideal weight, and always the calorie requirement is calculated on base of your goal weight, which comes in the ideal weight. And take this app, use the help of this app or any other apps. If you are okay, you can use, but start with this app and explore this to get more idea. So ensure that your daily calorie requirement less than or equal to maximum calorie allowed, which for fat loss or for maintenance. If required, take necessary supplements for micronutrients. So a medical checkup would be sufficient to assess whether you're okay with the micronutrients, vitamins, and minerals in your body. For example, many of us have vitamin D deficiency, which is causing major issue. It inhibits, if you lack vitamin D, it inhibits fat loss also. So get a medical checkup. So it all sounds crazy, but it is worth budgeting food for long-term health benefits. It might look unnecessary, but if we come to know at least our upper limits in terms of calories, plan out for a food in a week according to say 2 to 3 months. Over a period of time, you will get an idea of how much we eat or how much more we eat. You can always compensate, balance it out. Only first you need to assess what is your current intake. It is similar to budgeting our expenses, right? Over a period of time, you have an idea how much to buy in order to have good investment. So it's the basic purpose of showing this is that only to know your upper limit, what is your assess your current food intake. So is it coming more or less? So coming to the diet part, I have addressed. Now let me take to the other important thing, which is exercise. So in the survey which was sent, exercise, no doubt everyone told 100% we need exercise in our body for various matters. So I'm addressing why we need exercise. We need muscle strength and stamina required for long-term health benefits. These are some of the two things I am addressing. There are many other. It is all related to our mental strength also one way. And for muscle strength, we need to carry, lift, we need to move around, carrying ourselves, all these things, we need muscle strength. And stamina is we need to run around, play with our children, and going upstairs. We should not be out of breath. We need to develop our stamina also. So some exercise facts. About 25 years of age, you will have a reduced basal metabolic rate. Your metabolic rate will come down. For the same amount of food you take, even after 25 years of age, you will gain fat. So know that. Even in my case, I was like a stick till 26 years. After that, I used to eat, but still I was stick until 25. But after 27, I gained weight like anything. So this is one of the facts which is there. You can just keep in mind the body fat gain is dependent on your food intake. And one more thing is muscle atrophy. If you know resistance or strength training is there, if you're not using the muscle, the principle is lose it if you don't use it. If you still say I have done heavy gym 3 months back or 3 years back, there is no chance of that muscles remaining now, because the principle of muscle building and strength is constantly use it, build it. And I'm not telling you need to go to gym and build your muscles, but the basic strength training we need. So resistance training in gyms or even body weights, you can use your body weights like squats and all these things you can use for muscle growth and maintenance. Stamina, you need to run, walk briskly, or high intensity interval training is one of the best ways you can lose fat and gain stamina, build your muscles and all. And ideally, your heartbeat should be reaching in and around maximum heart rate. So you can use this thumb rule: 220 minus your age is the maximum heart rate you can go. And for my 220 minus 35, I'll be around 185 beats per minute. So I need to reach that level for building up my stamina. So you can read through that. I've given the link there. And how do we find out? Invest in a small smartwatch or something. Now you'll get it for 3,000 rupees. So it may be a little costly in the initial, but it all serves a purpose of a long-term health benefits. Now I want to introduce something known as app-based home workouts. And one of the apps which I am using is, I'll show you here. It is convenient, cheap, and safe. Now gyms cannot be gone because of this current pandemic. And the app which I am introducing is Freeletics. It's cheap in the sense you need to just pay 200 per month, and using our own body weights, you need not have any equipments. They will usually split it into 30 to 40 minutes per session and make it a habit for a lifetime. This is not for, we don't have a short-term purpose, we have a long-term purpose. So make it as a habit. Consider doing it 3 times minimum in a week. That is possible. You can, in a week, if you miss out some workouts, although you can adjust in the rest of the week. So I am basically doing that thrice in a week. Even that is, I'm just getting used to it. You start at least 3 times a week, and you will see a lot of benefits over a period of time. Now I will share this particular demo for this freeletics. Just to give you an idea, you can explore it. It's very straightforward. So this is currently I'm going in a plan. So you can see if you say, so the main advantage is there will be both warming up and cooling down exercise, which is essential for exercises. So you'll have all these dynamic warm-ups and all, like skipping, jumping jacks. Your heart rate will be moved up. Then we will get into slowly into the muscle strengthening and stamina building. For example, they will give very good illustration of the techniques of how it should be done, the mechanism, because one of the major reasons for injuries is doing it in the wrong way. So they will tell you how to do it in a proper way. So all these tips, they will give very good videos, and you can, at the end of the session, you can give your feedback whether I'd be able to do it or whether I'm out of breath. So based on that, in the next session, they will adjust it. Maybe it's AI driven, artificial intelligence driven, but it's very useful in my life because slowly I could see the progress in my life. It's not always the constant exercises we do. Always they will change the exercise. And for example, if you want to give, if you have any injury, you can mention that also in the app. For example, training days, I have considered Monday, Wednesday and Friday. So you can give 3 times a week, and equipments, you can, if you have equipments, you can use, but usually it will be body weight. And I think injury you can give when you start the session. Now I am into the session, so I just want to give you an that overview. So let me get back. You can explore it, and yeah, make it a habit. That is the thing I was telling. It's very important. Now coming to the healthy lifestyle, I will combine both diet and exercise. So a proper diet to meet our energy needs through macronutrients, and functioning, for various functioning we need micronutrients. You'll get an idea of how much we eat from the chronometer app. If overweight, body fat loss is recommended through diet and exercise, targeting our weight in the ideal BMI. And look for slowly building your muscles, muscle strength and stamina. You can use this app Freeletics. You can give your current state also in this app where you are not able to even breathe while climbing stairs. So from that state only they will. So what I'm trying to tell is healthy lifestyle includes both diet and exercise. So if you're facing with some kind of injury, there is always a way to work around it. You can meet your physiotherapist to learn to how to do exercises and all. And one tip I want to mention here is tip on intermittent fasting. So intermittent fasting is where we don't eat for 16 to 24 hours, and we are not supposed to do intermittent fasting every day as per medical community suggestion. Even you can make it alternate day, or to compensate for a heavy meal, you can immediately do a intermittent fasting after that. So what is, for example, what is intermittent fasting is, in a day you had your dinner at 7 p.m. and next day, say your lunch, you eat only at 1 p.m. So ideally the window of non-eating is around 16 hours. I have given a link for learning more about intermittent fasting and how to do it efficiently in the last, so you can refer that. And it is one of the very efficient ways to lose weight also. There are many other benefits. You can look into that. Also, as a note, as exceptional cases, there can be hormonal imbalance or stress or lack of sleep or micronutrient imbalance can inhibit fat loss. Micronutrient imbalance can be compensated by having supplements. For example, we all may have deficiency in vitamin D, which can also hinder fat loss. So take care of that also in your consideration. So now let me get into the last part, that is intro to the ketogenic diet. So I will be addressing what is ketogenic diet. There are many myths on keto diet, and what are the health benefits, what to do now, and we have a beautiful testimony in the end, not by mine, not by me, but I'll keep it as suspense. So keto is a scientifically researched and well proven diet for many health benefits. So what is ketogenic diet? So ketogenic diet in short is our 70 to 80% energy comes from healthy fats, and we'll have a 20-25% energy comes from protein, and carbs is almost nil. And so that is in short the ketogenic diet. It is a majorly healthy fat diet, and you will have only moderate proteins and almost nil carbs. And what are some of the healthy fats? Coconut oil, olive oil, butter, ghee, animal fat. These are all healthy fats. And imagine a situation, our body is like a car running both on either on petrol or on electric power. So, running on petrol leads to emission of many poisonous gases. So, and what about running on electric power? Electric power is a clean energy source. So, similar to that, medical research have found running our body on fat is like running on electric power. So, it is clean. It is much efficient than we use carbs for energy. Carbs, but it has its complications. Many lifestyles can lead if it's more. Usually there is a process. Carbs can induce cravings in our mind. So even if we have full lunch, at latest time we may have cravings for eat more. So that is one of the side effects of eating carbs. Fat is, I will get into that in the coming benefits. So what happened? We have learned about this part where carbs in our normal diet, carbs will be converted to energy and excess will be converted into fat. So what is ketogenic diet is, once you cut off the carb intake, we increase the fat intake. And in that situation, what happens is fats will be converted into ketone bodies, known as a process known as ketogenesis. And ketone bodies is it's a efficient source of energy according to the medical community, and it is one of the researched areas also. So ketone bodies will be generated, which will be used by our cells in our brain. And once you're trying to cut off carbs in your diet, it's very tough initially when you cut off rice and wheat and all, but it's not only cutting down rice and wheat, we are raising the fat content through our oil and all. And there is a phase in our body where our body will know that, oh, there are no carbs in our body. So what will happen? Our body will realize there is fats in our body. So our body will get adapted to fat burning. So we'll get into fat burning mode. And in that mode, we are known as fat adaptation, or known as we'll be in nutritional ketosis, where fat will be converted into ketones. So for getting into nutritional ketosis, we need at least 4 to 6 weeks of almost no carbs and raising the fat. So the thing is, what happening is, over a period of time, our body will know that only fat is available, use it for energy, and over a period of time, our body fat will be also burnt. So which leads to rapid weight loss in the sense fat only, and no muscle will be lost. That is one of the benefits of keto diet. No muscle will be wasted. It has a muscle sparing effect. So all these things I have did it in scientifically, and I came to know, but in the research books, it's very, very much they are telling about these things. So our aim is to raise fat, cut off carb, and get our body tuned into fat burning mode. And it will happen over 4 to 6 weeks. And that process, that getting into formation of ketone bodies in our body, is known as nutritional ketosis. And during that time, you can detect ketones in your urine, in your blood, and your breath. there are strips available for checking ketones in your body, whether you are in the fat burning mode or not. So you can know that. I will, if you're interested, I can share you that. So there are many myths around keto diet. So what are some of the myths? Oh, high fat diet, not okay. It leads to high cholesterol, heart disease. So these are some of the things which are actually fed into our mind, knowing that fat intake will lead to all these things. Actually, so the fact is, most of the heart issues are actually due to the high carb diet we have, and fat is just uh, so when your arteries get inflamed due to high carb diet, the fat will go and deposit there. That only it does. And what does is, the high carb diet is a cause of major inflammatory diseases of our heart and all. So these are not my find out. These are all research in the books, which I will give the references in the end. And also, your cholesterol will come down. Your good cholesterol will go up, your bad cholesterol will come down, and your triglycerides also will come down, which is a marker for heart disease. So all these health benefits are there in keto diet, which I have personally experienced. I was doing monthly health checkups to show my cholesterol coming down. So that is a fact. It's there in the books also. And next myth is, keto diet is a high non-veg diet or just a low carb diet. So both are not right. Even we can have keto veg diet. So what is non-veg? Non-veg is all about protein. It's not fat. What is keto diet is high fat diet. And we can even have keto veg diet, where we can add fat through healthy oils. And to note some of the things, we are now seeing a trend of keto foods in our restaurants in Swiggy and Zomato. But know that most of the foods are high protein. They give you high meat content in that. It's not a high fat content. So what you can do, you can add more olive oil or add a little bit butter or ghee to increase the fat content, to make it a real keto dish. And most of the recipes also, you need to be a little bit careful. Keto, they will just mention as name, but it should be high in fat. That is, in short, keto recipes. So another term I just want to introduce is diabetic ketoacidosis. When you go to doctors, sometimes they'll scare you telling it leads to this kind of situation. This is a life-threatening situation, but it will happen when your sugar levels are high and your body becomes acidic. But this ketogenic diet nowhere leads to that. So ketogenic diet leads to nutritional ketosis, and they often misquote this name. And in the book also, that doctor was telling, most of them have confused between these two terms. So when I went to the physician, he was telling it, you will end up in this. So don't take it as, so most of the medical community are ignorant, or they don't want to promote keto diet. So that is a fact. So keto diet can be a costly diet. So I agree, initial cost can go up based on your the normal budget. Slightly it will go up, but over a long period of time, you will come to know how to manage your food and all. So the cost will come down. And know that even if it's a slightly ahead in the cost, it has a lot of long-term benefits, which I will tell in the coming slide. And keto is not sustainable. It leads to fatigue. And another myth is keto is not sustainable. Fatigue leads to fatigue, constipation, kidney stones, etc. So initially, when your body, so what are some of the facts? Initially, when your body gets adjusted to burning fat, there will be a energy change, so energy source change happening. So you may get fatigued, you may get headaches and all. But during that time, they are basically due to the lack of minerals in your body. You can increase your minerals through bone broth or salts in your body. So that in that book which I given, you can read and you can get more knowledge. So all these things can be worked around. So without knowledge, if you get into that, there are high chances that you will quit it in another 2 weeks. And another thing is constipation. Constipation will happen when you consider ketogenic diet as a high non-veg diet. Actually, it's not a high non-veg diet, it's high fat diet. And in keto, you should have high fiber content also through vegetables, so that the constipation won't come into picture. And kidney stones can happen if you don't drink enough water. Minimum, you need 3 to 4 liters of water in your body to wash up the minerals which get accumulated in your kidney. And That is also required. So all these precautions we can take while doing this diet, and you'll be out of, you won't have to face these issues. Ketogenic, another myth is you do not take any supplements. So ideally you need to have few supplements because we are cutting off fruits on one side, so we may lack vitamins and minerals. So we can have supplements like multivitamins or minerals, which gives 100% recommended daily allowance. And know that vitamin D3 is also very essential in our body. So we can have a vitamin D3 supplement and omega-3 fatty acid supplement. So the book which I'm referring, it has all these details. You can go through it. And what are some of the health benefits of ketogenic diet? Rapid fat loss is just one of the many benefits. It is obvious thing when you start keto, you start losing weight. Type 2 diabetes and pre-diabetes reversal definitely is going to happen. And it lowers blood pressure, high energy and performance. You will have, your energy will go up literally because your energy comes from fat. Fat as a process giving you more energy, which I personally experienced. And increase in HDL cholesterol, your good cholesterol will go up, and your bad cholesterol and triglycerides will come down. If you know those things, you can gain more understanding from the literature. And of course, another thing is decrease in hunger and sugar cravings. This is one of the things which I found it very useful, because before I got into ketogenic diet, if you ask my colleagues, my desk will be like a food pantry where a lot of things will be there, and they only come to ask me what some biscuits or some snacks, and some evening sometimes I like burgers and all. And once I got into that, everything I even forgot to eat sometimes. So you will feel almost satiated because it will keep you filled. And non-alcoholic fatty liver, your liver becomes crystal clear. I have blood reports showing that. And one of the things which now promoted is reduction of cancer factors. So cancer factors nowadays, it's proven that high sugar content intake is related to cancer, because cancer cells are more able to grow in a high sugar environment, high glucose environment. So ketogenic diet has a healing effect on that. So you can see from the books, mood stabilization, improvement of heartburn, GERD, PCOS, seizures, and all are there. Many are there. So I've just addressed few of them. But note that please consult your physician before changing the diet if any health issues are there. So if you are boosted up and thinking of a keto diet, get a full blood checkup, even young people, for an assessment. If any pre-existing health conditions such as diabetes or blood pressure is there, consult a doctor. And don't just go to any doctor. Most of them don't encourage doing keto diet. There are doctors I know who prescribes keto diet for type 2 diabetic reversal, and it's all giving good results. And immediate change with no change in diet change with no change in medications can be dangerous, especially in the case of diabetic patients. They have to change the medicines. So in consultation with that physician, you can do that. If you're healthy, keto can be implemented, but please don't jump into it immediately. You can happen that you may lose that motivation, and you may quit in another 4 weeks. So what I have to do, you need to build knowledge from authentic materials. I have given some references for you. You can go through it, then slowly start. One thing you can do is assess maximum calorie requirement and plan for food plan. You can do at least at this point by the time you build knowledge on ketogenic diet. So get 1 month subscription. There are many things, features you can unlock in that, and you need not subscribe after that. Get 1 month subscription. And please don't watch random YouTube videos or materials from the web, because most of the videos are making fat as a villain. And because most of the researchers are funded by food industries, and food industries won't be there if carbs are not there. So they won't promote ketogenic diet. So there are very authentic doctors who have done research and promoted ketogenic. I'll give you the reference in the end. So I want to address one more point. So far, I've been talking about keto diet. Now, what about fitness? I need to build my muscles and gain stamina. So some tips are there. So if you are getting into keto diet, allow weight loss for say 2 to 3 months, and then start fitness. Because initially when your body switches to a new energy of energy from fat, you may lose little bit energy loss, but after losing weight, get your body adapted to fat burning mode, then you start fitness. Start with simple keto dishes, salads with high fat. I'll give you a small demo in the end. And get info from authentic books with adequate knowledge. Actually, you can implement and be consistent. So healthy diet and exercise is a commitment for lifetime. Exercise at least 3 times a week. Have patience to see the results. You may not see immediate results in 1 week, 2 weeks. Have patience. It will finally come out if it's done properly. It's always better to have a support group for encouragement and accountability, where you can share with the person, I've eaten this, and he can correct you in the diet and all. That is very very essential if you can't have that motivation to move ahead alone. And let me come to the keto foods. These are some of the things which I tried and experimented over a period of time. I concluded some of the things which I'm eating now. So starting with breakfast, I can have chia pudding, where you use chia seeds, high fat cream, and some almonds. So it has all high fat, fiber, and even protein. So all these recipes are available, and you can give a trial on all these things. And one note, especially you should listen to this one note: don't mix keto food with your regular high carb food. You will further gain weight, for the reason that your high carb food will be used for energy, and fat content in the keto food will definitely add to your weight. So if you're getting into keto, slowly bring down the carbs, and you should increase the fat, and by reducing the carbs. And coming to this salad, this is a salad I was talking. So it has 20-25% protein through eggs and chicken. And for fiber, I use some vegetables. And how the fat content is increased by dressing it with olive oil. For example, 1 tablespoon olive oil has 14 grams of fat. And if you add 5 tablespoons, it will amount to 70 grams of fat. So based on your food plan, you can adjust the amount of fat in it. And the next one is, I can have desserts. Keto food is not a very boring diet. It has a lot of delicious stuffs. Only thing you need to explore. If you have cravings or something during snacks, during evening, you can have fat bombs. This is made out of peanut butter and chocolate. And the sweetener I use is all stevia, erythritol, or monk fruit, which are healthy version. There are other versions also which are not healthy. So you can use these sweeteners for adding to your dessert. And this is my favorite, that is keto cheesecake with blueberry sauce. So there are many varieties available. You can all explore it. Just to give you an idea of demo, this video was taken by my neighbor. His name is Jerome. He likes to take all these videos. So he comes to home and take this video. So these are some of the salad ingredients, like lettuce, tomato, onion, and chicken is for protein. And so avocado is considered in all keto diet. If you see the symbol, it's always avocado or butterfruit. Avocado is one of the most nutrition rich fruit. It's a fruit actually, so you can use it. It also has fat content and protein content. So we can mix it up. So with some salt and pepper, you can season it. And this is how the fat is added. I will use virgin olive oil for increasing the fat content of this salad. Then mix it and enjoy it. So what about the next slide? 1 minute. So that is in short, all these things. So I just want to mention my testimony first. And I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at the age of 14. I was insulin dependent, and of course I am raised in a traditional Malayali family where I like Kerala rice, chapati, all the things Kerala varieties I liked. And at the age of 34, I happened, I am 1 point short of 100. What is that actually? I became so bulky, and if you ask my neighbor Jerome, he will tell I looked like a Christmas tata. That means a Christmas father. I was a good candidate for Christmas father that year, and I I I didn't have any idea of how to live or how to lead a healthy life along with this. Even additional to that, with this type 1 diabetes, and in the during that time, I would say it's not a coincidence. God showed me a video in the Facebook and ketogenic diet. So I started exploring that, and I got a good book on that. And from May 4th, I started ketogenic diet, my journey, and I learned from books, learned basic cooking and baking. I never used to cook, but now I started doing something, and online recipes were there. And there is one more app which I can suggest, Diet Doctor, where a lot of recipes which I used initially was the Diet Doctor. And I did my human trials on myself, and sometimes it failed. I had to face the consequences, and yeah, now I am much better. And the thing which I want to mention is I did scientifically based on the instructions from the book, not randomly from any videos. I weighed food. I bought a kitchen scale. I weighed food. I used chronometer. I use intermittent fasting in between once in a week. And intermittent fasting with keto is a very effective tool for rapid weight loss. And I did monthly blood checkup to know how are my vitals going up and down. And it was all ditto in the book they were mentioning. It was happening to me. And I used to have BCA check. BCA check is a body composition analysis which gets you an idea of how much muscle, fat, and water content in your body, to check whether I am losing my muscles in the process. So I was not losing any muscles, I was just losing my fat. So after 6 weeks, after I got into fat adaptation mode, I introduced cheat meals once in a week to sustain. I still love carbohydrate food, but not that much craving to it. So what happened after 3 months? I lost my weight, 16 kgs in 3 months, just through diet. I didn't do any exercise in first 3 months, and high energy, total physical transformation, and mental sharpness. Currently, at this point, I am at 82 weight maintenance. And this picture, I just thought of taking the same shirt I will use, but this shirt was around 48 size. I had to reduce it to 42 to fit me now. And even my waist size are reduced from 38 to 34. So those are all big improvements which happened to me. So so currently I'm in weight maintenance diet. Although I am preferring keto, I am in weight maintenance diet. So after 3 months into keto, I started freeletics. After I lost around 16 kgs, and my body adapted to fat burning mode, I started freeletics app thrice a week, and now it's formed a habit. And what I want to tell is, yeah, after losing 16 kgs itself, you can see the difference on your knees. The knees will be so free that you feel like you fly, in the initial stage after losing weight, and it will be much effortless to do exercises also. After 3 months into keto, I consulted a doctor, and initial stages of my keto, I didn't find a doctor who encouraged keto diet. So once I consulted him, he's actually a keto friendly doctor, who is Dr. Parmesh in Kamanalli. And the best thing you can do to your health, even for a diabetics or a normal person, this is the best thing you can do. And now, healthy as a normal non-diabetic 25-year-old, all vitals absolutely normal. My HbA1c, if you see this parameter, this gives you a 3-month average of your blood sugar. It reduced from 7.9 to 4.9. And of course, I am in type 1 diabetes, so I need some insulin. My pancreas won't make insulin, so I have reduced 80 to 90% of the insulin. And praise God for all He has been doing in my life. This is kind of second lease in my life, and that's why that gave me more motivation to give me this webinar, to make you aware what are things there, and to make a lifestyle change. So this is kind of second lease of my life, which I'm enjoying. And I want to introduce some references. These are some of the good references I referred. Even if you don't have diabetes, or you're in the brim of diabetes, or non-diabetic people also can read the first book, Conquer Type 2 Diabetes, available, I think, in Amazon. It gives you a basic plan from where I started. It's mostly in that book. And some of the other books which you can read, these are all very scientifically researched books and written by well-known authors and doctors. And Art and Science of Low Carb Diet, and all these things you can read. And there are some videos which I shared with you. This particular Thomas, in that video, I used to follow his videos. It's very good. You can follow the intermittent fasting videos, and this is the keto friendly doctor who has a dietitian service also. You can go to him, and if you are into weight reduction, or if you want to reverse your type 2 diabetes, of course he's the right person to meet. I don't know many other doctors may be there, but so far I have known about this person. Now, with that, I'll move to another testimony by a beautiful testimony by our sister Natasha. She's not able to join today because of the surgery, and she sent me this video clip. So let's go through it.
This is Natasha here. I want to testify on the benefits of healthy diet and healthy living. Please do forgive me if I look away from the camera for some time, because I have written the script down and I don't want to forget all the important points and that I have written. I have been suffering from PCOD and thyroids for more than 15 years. And I have gained a lot of weight, and I have on my energy levels and becoming very tired in doing I couldn't do any work at all, and this also I found it difficult to conceive, and I did have irregular cycles, which when I used to get lasted for a month with heavy flow as well. I'm a person who does not like to diet because I love food. I'm a foodie. I love eating chocolates and ice creams, and I really can't stay without eating sweets. I have done a lot of crash diets. I have reduced around, say, a kg or so, but ended up gaining weight again. All the doctors have asked me to reduce weight due to health risk. But it was impossible for me to reduce as I have the hypothyroid and my PCOD levels, which made it difficult for me to reduce weight. I even joined the gym and still found no results at all. I have also had a lot of medications, and I did take a lot of medications, and finally gave up everything. Saying that I cannot reduce weight. And I did meet Robin in our church picnic in the month of November 2019. And I saw a complete change in him physically, and he explained about his diabetics also being reversed. So that was a complete shock for me and my husband. And that was when I decided my journey began. I did talk to Robin about my weight issues and my health issues. He did counsel me and talk to me about the keto diet keto diet, and asked me to read about it before beginning the journey. So I started the journey along with my husband, who was a moral support for me, and because I don't do anything without motivation, and he has helped me a great deal with it. We did an initial health checkup and understood that my vitamin D levels were very, very, very low. And I did have fatty liver, polycystic ovaries, both the ovaries, I have polycystic ovaries, and my sugar levels were in the borderline too. And my weight was around 92 kgs in the month of November. 25th of November 2019, that is where I did all my checkups and did my weight, and found out that this was my weight at that time. Then I decided that yes, I need to reduce because my weight brought down my energy levels, and I did have a lot of back pain and knee pain as my body couldn't put up with my weight. So I did have a lot of issues with my physical body. Then, as per plan and understood about a healthy living, my journey started. And the first thing was that I decided to become accountable to Robin and Pooja and everybody. And who we start, there was a group that was started, so we were accountable there of everything that we ate, and a continuous monitoring and encouragement was given, and that was the most important thing, was monitoring what I eat daily, be it even if I did eat a jalebi or something. So I did confess in the group saying that so and so was eaten, and I also knew that Robin was watching over my status and watching that what I'm eating. So I did feel that yes, somebody is taking care of my diet and trying to motivate me and saying that I can overcome it, because initially I really found it difficult to get over carbs. Eating chapati, rice, and leaving chocolates and ice creams and sugar was very, very difficult for me, especially when during church meetings, family functions, etc. And because of the accountability group, Melvin and myself found it very easy to follow a strict diet, and the diet plan along went on well. So we did implement the diet, and finally in the month of November I reduced around 10 kgs in the month from 25th November 2019 to 20th June 2020. My weight came up to I lost around 10 kgs, which was around 82 kgs. And we did do a health checkup again, and I found out that my health was completely normal, as my sugar levels were had come down, became normal, and my fatty livers had completely disappeared. My cyst in my right ovaries had disappeared, and my left ovaries, the cyst size has completely reduced. My thyroid levels have come back normal. My energy levels has been improved, and now as on 20th June, when I checked my weight, it was around 79.8 kgs. I think I have never seen this kind of a weight reduction in my life. And finally, with all this, I have conceived now. I'm around 14 weeks pregnant, and this has been done, I think after 10 years this has happened. So I really thank God for helping me through Robin and through the accountability group, and teaching me about healthy diet and healthy living. I thank one and all for supporting me and helping me reduce weight and achieve things that are impossible. I thank you.
Any questions?
Thank you, Robin. Just a word of thank you. You can see from the testimonies that it's really working. And what I see also is that it requires really some commitment.
Yeah, of course.
It's like budgeting,
Yes, exactly.
because in the beginning and after, you start to find it useful. So a lot of courage, and probably maybe somebody who wants to start, he needs to have some accountability person with whom they can discuss and encourage and so on. Maybe that could be kind of some next step for the
Yeah.
people who wants to take that journey. So yeah, thank you again. Thank you.
Yeah, I also want to mention Pastor Pooja also there in that group. She also gave a lot of suggestions, tips. So yeah, we can add if more people are interested.
Robin brother,
Yeah, Hannah sister. Yeah.
I know a lady. She has done this keto diet, but she has lost a lot of hair. But after coming back to normal diet itself, she got new hair.
Who lost the hair?
One lady whom I know.
Okay. Okay. So it may
She
be
lost
related to
weight, but
keto.
also hair.
No, it may not be related to keto. Many other see, one of the main reasons people quit and talk bad about keto is they don't know much about keto. So without knowing, they will tell keto is bad and all. But when you start doing it properly, the way in which I mentioned, which was prescribed in the book, definitely it's going to, you will reap benefits. And
You
I never
didn't say
heard in the book. I never heard in the book
during.
hair loss will happen in with the keto diet.
Okay, even it didn't happen to you.
No.
Oh, nice.
Only thing which happened, disadvantage part was my complete wardrobe reset. I had to change my all clothes in my wardrobe. So yeah.
That's a good advantage. I'm in disadvantage, sorry.
Yeah, that's a very good disadvantage.
Thank you, Robin. It was
Yeah.
good.
Okay. Pastor Coffee, can you end up in prayer?
Thank you, brother, and please share that PPT also. Okay.
Sure, sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this excellent session, Lord. Thank you for all the knowledge, Lord, that we acquire. Lord, we see that it requires effort, commitment, Lord, to follow this path. Lord, I pray that, Lord, you will strengthen, Lord, each one of us, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for opening our eyes on our lifestyle, Lord. Uh, Thank you for opening, Lord, ideas on how to control really what we are eating, Lord. Thank you for helping us, Lord, to be conscious about what we are eating, Lord, to take more care of our body, Lord, so that the body will sustain us, Lord. May it be in the ministry, in our job, in our families, Lord. Help us, Lord, to take good care, Lord, of the body that you given us, Lord. Thank you for this time. Thank you for the amazing testimony, Lord, of Robin and Pastor Natasha. Lord, we pray that you continue to bless them, Lord. We pray also for Pastor Natasha, Lord, as she's will have a surgery, Lord. Pray that you will bless her, Lord. We commit all the doctors, Lord, into your mighty hand. We pray that, Lord, you will take full control, Lord. You will be with her again, Lord. We pray that everything will go fine, oh my Father. Lord, we pray for the pregnancy, Lord. We bless your name, Lord. Thank you for helping her, Lord. And Pastor Melvin, Lord, to conceive again, Lord. We commit, Lord, all the pregnancy, during all this period, we commit your pregnancy into your mighty hand. We pray that, Lord, she will be healthy, baby will be healthy, oh my Father. Thank you, Jesus Christ, for this moment. Thank you for Robin, who have shared, Lord, his knowledge about keto dieting, Lord. Lord, we pray that we will use wisely, Lord, the knowledge that we acquired. Thank you, Jesus Christ. Thank you for the rest of the day, Lord. We commit all the meetings that will happen today into your mighty hand, Lord. We commit each one of us, Lord, into your mighty hand. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen.